We're going to start working on our contact page. What we'll be adding next is something called an icon list. The icon list is where you can create a list, but instead of using a standard bullet, you can use a visual icon to make the content more engaging and visually appealing. We will also be adding a Google map to our web page. We can do both of these things using the Spectra plugin that we have already installed in our web page. So let's take a look at how we can enable both of these things to our contact page. I've done a little bit of work on my contact page by adding our header pattern, some text, and our call to action banner. I'll go into my contact page, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a new container underneath the call to action banner. I'll click the plus sign and I'm going to create a container. I want to make sure that this container is not located inside of my other elements, so I'm going to drag that out. We will be using a 2-column container. However, I want my columns to not be equal in width. With the containing element selected, I'm going to change from full width to boxed. I'll go to the Layout tab. I'm going to make sure that Align Items is set to center, as well as Justify Content. Everything else will leave at the defaults. I'll open this element up and I'm going to select the first container element. This is where you can specify the width. So instead of having the width be 50%, I'm going to change this to 40. Then what we'll do is we'll select the second container and change its width to 60. This will ensure that the second container is slightly wider than the first one. Now I'm going to come to the first container and we're going to add something called an icon list. The icon list allows you to create a list of elements and you can control the icons for each list element. As you can see, you can uniquely target each of the list items, which is what we want to do here. I'll start off by augmenting the first list item. This is going to have the address of our business. And then I'm going to come to the icon area and choose an icon. I will search for a map icon. As you can see, I have several map icons available, and I'm going to use this one right here. I'll insert this icon, and you can see that this gets inserted. Conversely, you could use a custom image or have none, but we'll stick with our map icon. I don't need to make this list element a link, so we'll leave it off. And then we will go to Style. I'll go to Icon, and I'm going to change the icon color. I'm going to use my mid-tone gray for the icon color. Next, I'll move on to the next list item. This is going to contain the phone number that I want to use. I'll type in my phone number, and then what I'll do is I'll highlight this text, and we actually are going to make this into a link. So back in the General tab, I'm going to turn on link, and instead of having this be a hash, I'm going to say tell : and then we'll use our phone number. I'll also choose an alternate icon, so I'm going to search for phone, and I'm going to use this phone icon right here. I'll go to Style, and we'll change the icon color to be our darker gray. Finally, we'll go to the last list item, and this is going to have our email address. I'll go to the General tab, we'll turn on link. Since we want this to be an email link, I'm going to use mail to : and then put the email address. And for icon, let's see if there's something that we can use that would be appropriate. I will search for @ and I'm going to use this @ symbol. I'll insert the icon. We'll go to Style, change the icon color. And now you can see I have a customized icon list. If we save our page and look at this in the browser, you should see that both the phone number and the email are both links. I'll come back to my backend, and in addition to making these links, I'm going to change the text color. This is going to be under Style. We'll go to Label, and I'll change the color to our teal color. This is going to ensure that the color of all links is consistent throughout our website. I'll do the same thing for the phone number, just to give a little bit more of a visual. These items are both links. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a map to the next container. I'll click within the next container, we'll click our plus sign, and I'm going to search for map. You can see that we have an option to insert a Google map. This, once again, is part of our Spectra plugin, and with the map selected, you will be able to enter an address. So let's go ahead and enter the address that we're using here. As you can see, it's now displaying our address. We could choose to show a satellite view or a drawn view, so whatever your preference is. You can go ahead and zoom in or out of the map. So if you want users to be able to have a closer view or more zoomed out, you can control that. You'll be able to control the height of the map. I'm going to make my map slightly shorter by changing my height to 250, and you can specify the language of the map. I think that this is looking pretty good. Let's save our page. We'll check this out in the front end portion of our website. I do like this. I would, however, like my icon list to be slightly closer to the map. So let's go back to the main container. I will select my first container. We'll go to container type, and I think I can probably reduce this down to 30. Because I'm doing that, I'm going to select my second container and we will up that up to 70. Let's save this and take one more look in the front end. I like this a little bit better. It's always a good idea to check this out at the different browser sizes. I'll go ahead and look at my web page at more of a tablet view. I think that this still looks completely fine. And then finally at a mobile view. The only thing that I am missing is a headline for this section. So I'm going to go ahead and click my main container element, and we will go ahead and add a heading. It put this underneath, but I can move it in just a second. I'm going to change the verbiage on the heading to say contact details. I'll go back into list view, and let's simply drag this into our container. If you drag it into the container, it is going to make something of a 3-column container. I don't want that, so I'm going to place it inside my first container. Now you can see the text contact details is going to show, and then it'll have the contact details and the map will appear on the right. The final thing that I want to do here is I'm going to once again select the parent container. We're going to make sure we're under the General tab. And under layout, I am going to change the alignment to flex start to move this information to the top of the box. I'll hit save, and we'll take one more look in the front end portion of our website. And as you can see, we've now added this contact details as well as a map quickly and easily to our website.